Bullies humiliate new black girl at prom, unaware she is Slugger boxer. The prom night glittered with chandeliers, music and laughter. But not all smiles were kind. In the far corner stood the new black girl, radiant yet isolated, her every move tracked by whispers dripping with cruelty. Then, as the spotlight turned her way, the bully's cruel trick unfolded, designed to break her in front of everyone. Gasps, laughter and humiliation filled the room, until a chilling truth lingered just beneath the surface. Because behind her quiet eyes was no ordinary teen. She was a slugger boxer, trained to fight back harder than anyone they could ever imagine. Before we continue this story, go ahead and subscribe to our channel and like this video so we can bring you even more amazing stories like this one. High school was supposed to be a fresh start for Amara. She had just moved into town with her mother after her father's passing, and though life had dealt her heartbreak, she carried herself with quiet strength. Still, being the new black girl in a mostly white suburban school came with its own invisible walls. In the hallways, she felt the stares. At lunch, whispers followed her. People didn't see her. They judged her skin before they knew her story. For Amara, boxing had always been her refuge. Her father, a former amateur slugger, had trained her in dimly lit gyms, teaching her to channel pain into discipline. Each punch on the heavy bag was a reminder that she could endure, but she kept that part of her life hidden at school. Here, she wasn't a fighter, just an outsider. As prom night approached, the excitement around her classmates grew. Dresses were bought, limos rented, crowns imagined. For Amara, it was just another night to try and fit in, a night to prove she belonged. She found a simple but elegant dress, saved up from her part-time job, and told herself she would smile no matter what. But the moment she walked through those decorated double doors, she could feel the chill in the air. The popular girls whispered, the athletes smirked. For them, prom was a stage and Amara was an easy target. What she didn't know was that a cruel plan was already in motion, a plan designed to humiliate her when the night reached its peak. And as the DJ's lights spun and laughter grew, that plan was about to unfold before hundreds of watching eyes. The prank began with something small. Spilled punch accidentally brushed against her dress. Amara forced a smile, dabbing the stain, pretending not to notice the snickers around her. But humiliation wasn't the goal yet. The bullies wanted spectacle. Soon, her name was called out for the spotlight dance. Confused, she stepped forward, her heart pounding. She hadn't signed up, hadn't agreed. Yet the crowd circled, chanting mockingly. She saw the ringleaders smirking, the cheer captain, a golden-haired girl with a cruel glint, and her boyfriend, the star quarterback. Together, they were untouchable, and everyone else followed their lead. As the music swelled, Amara's dress was suddenly yanked from behind. A seam tore with a sharp rip. Laughter erupted like wildfire, echoing across the gymnasium walls. Some students covered their mouths in shock, but most laughed, their phones raised, recording every second of her embarrassment. She stood frozen, her cheeks burning, her throat tight. Every cruel laugh was a reminder of the countless times she'd been underestimated, diminished, judged. And in that moment, humiliation threatened to consume her. But deep inside, another feeling stirred. Her father's voice echoed in her memory. You don't fight for the crowd. You fight for yourself, for your dignity. Amara's breathing slowed, her fists clenched. Not to lash out wildly, but to ground herself. They thought she was weak. They thought her silence was surrender. What they didn't know was that every morning before school, she spent hours training, running drills, pounding bags, and sparring men twice her size. The crowd jeered, waiting for her to crumble. Instead, she straightened her back, lifted her chin, and fixed her eyes on the ringleaders. The room grew tense. Something in her gaze shifted the air. It wasn't fear anymore. It was fire. The quarterback smirked, stepping closer, mocking her stance. He shadowboxed clumsily, taunting, unaware of the storm he had awakened. The crowd cheered louder, thinking this was just another layer of the prank. But Amara didn't move recklessly. She waited. She measured. And when he leaned in too close, laughing in her face, the boxer within her finally surfaced. The room held its breath as Amara moved with startling precision. One swift sidestep, one sharp pivot, and the quarterback stumbled forward, his balance broken. Gasps replaced laughter. No one expected grace, no one expected power. But Amara was done being their victim. She didn't throw reckless punches. She didn't need to. A quick jab to his shoulder sent him reeling back. Not hurt, but humiliated. The crowd roared with shock. The cheer captain's smirk vanished, fear flashing across her eyes. Amara's presence commanded silence. She stood tall, fists raised, not in anger, but in defense, in discipline. The room saw not a new black girl, not an outsider, but a fighter whose strength could not be mocked. The quarterback lunged again, pride wounded more than body. But Amara slipped his clumsy move with ease, her training evident in every motion. She didn't strike hard. She didn't have to. The message was clear. This wasn't their stage anymore. Phones that once recorded her humiliation now captured her defiance. Students who laughed now whispered in awe. Even teachers frozen on the sidelines struggled to process what was unfolding. In those charged seconds, Amara turned humiliation into empowerment. The bullies had wanted a spectacle, and they got one. But it wasn't the show they had planned. It was the rise of someone they could never break. The music had long stopped, but the echoes of that moment lingered in every heart present. The quarterback slunk away, face red with shame. The cheer captain tried to reclaim control, shouting insults, but no one followed. The crowd had shifted. They weren't laughing anymore. They were staring at Amara with something new. Respect. Amara adjusted her torn dress, shoulders squared. She didn't cry. She didn't run. She simply walked off the dance floor with dignity. Each step a reminder that strength isn't just about fists. It's about refusing to bow when the world tries to break you. The videos spread beyond the prom walls. Online, people debated, some praising her resilience, others criticizing the cruelty she endured. But one truth was undeniable. She had flipped the script. She turned the story of a bullied girl into the story of a fighter who refused to be crushed. Days later at school, the whispers were different. No one saw her as invisible anymore. The same students who once mocked her now looked away in shame, some even offering apologies. But Amara didn't need their approval. She had already found her victory. Because strength, she realized, isn't proven when the world cheers for you. It's revealed when the world laughs at you and you rise anyway. And maybe, just maybe, the next time those bullies thought of targeting someone different, they'd remember that night. They'd remember the girl they tried to humiliate. The girl who walked in as an outsider, but left as a fighter. So the question remains, when the world tries to break you, will you let them define you? Or will you rise like Amara, turning your pain into power?